Hey, friends, welcome back to I Know How You Feel, a platform for common experiences not so commonly shared. If this is your first time tuning in, I just want to start by saying thank you. I see you, I hear you, and I get it. Because sometimes what we need the most is to just know that someone else has been there, and that's what this space is for. So today's episode is a little bit different. It's going to be much shorter because it's just me talking. I want to take you back to the beginning, to the why behind this podcast, what led me here, what the space is all about, and why it means so much to me. So grab your coffee and get comfy because I'm going to tell you everything.
It's time I go therapy. I need something more than time itself. I've been praying hard for clarity, but I just can't sort this out. No, I can't sort this out.
I think a lot of people have these moments in their lives that change everything. Sometimes it's just one moment, and sometimes it's several. For me, one of the moments that changed everything was when my dad died. I was only 27. It was very sudden and I didn't see it coming. And I remember being really deep in my grief, and someone said to me, "Oh, I know how you feel. My grandpa died." And I just remember thinking, what? Do they know how I feel? Do they know about my unique loss because they lost someone? And I knew it wasn't meant to be like a harmful comment, or it wasn't meant to be mean. They were just trying to connect, to show empathy, which is very human, right? It's this innate desire to want to connect to people. But in that moment, it felt like my grief had been unknowingly minimized. And it really sent me down a rabbit hole of curiosity, wanting to find that balance in the human experience between telling someone you know how they feel and empathizing with them without taking away their personal experience. And that was one of the moments that shaped everything for me. It made me realize how complex emotions are, how deeply personal yet universally shared grief, struggle, and healing can be. And it planted the seed for the podcast. There are thousands of podcasts you could be listening to. So, why does this one matter? Well, I think life throws a lot at us: grief, burnout, weird seasons where maybe you don't really feel like yourself, or you're waiting to level up to that next self, or a space in between where you're not sure what's next. And when we're in it, it can feel absolutely impossible to just put into words, let alone find someone who truly gets it. And this podcast, it's that someone. It's a place where we can have real, honest, vulnerable conversations about hard stuff, taboo stuff, beautiful, messy, in between moments, and where we can break down those walls of having it all together and just talk. I know for me, I've just really noticed on social media, I just have a really hard time finding that authenticity anymore. And I want that. I want to have that. I want to talk about everything. I want people to be real about what's going on because it can be so isolating and lonely to feel like you're behind or you're not doing it right. And I don't want it to just be me talking. This isn't just about my experiences. I want this to be a space for connection, for your stories and your voices and your experiences, because I truly believe that when we share, we heal. And I feel like podcasting has become a platform where a lot of experts get to share, which is great, but it can be a bit intimidating. I kept thinking, what if I created a space for people to share their stories, because no one is more of an expert on their story than the one who experienced it. And I really want to create something that recognize that every story matters. Every human experience is global, but also very personal. and that your time on earth, it means something. It means more when it's shared. Now, I know you're thinking, what makes me qualified to have a podcast? And I'm here to tell you absolutely nothing. um, Although I do have a degree in psychology, which maybe makes me qualified, but really my education pretty much came from life itself. I dropped out of graduate school twice, but I do have a master's degree in the school of life through loss, Lyme disease, autoimmune disease, living in a van, but not the fun kind, not the Mercedes fancy Instagram kind, like a minivan. Um, and a host of other experiences, but through feeling like I didn't belong and rebuilding every time life knocked me down, I know what it's like to feel isolated and unseen and just really exhausted by the weight of it all. And that's why this podcast matters to me because I don't think that anyone should have to walk alone through the hard stuff in life. I know that the next question that you're about to ask is, so what is it about? What is ahead for the I Know How You Feel podcast? And like I said before, we're going to talk about real, unfiltered parts of life, things that people don't always talk about, but honestly should. There's so many things we should be talking about, you guys. And I wish I can meet all of you and have a cup of coffee with you because it's my favorite activity to do is talk to people and know their stories. And maybe one day we will get to sit down and have that. But we're going to have so many guests that have just walked through the fire and come out the other side. And we're going to create a space that does feel like sitting down with a friend who gets it. And if you're here, it means something brought you here. Maybe you're curious as well and looking to grow. Maybe you're looking for hope. But whatever it is, I'm really glad you're here. And I hope as this podcast grows, it becomes exactly what you need when you need it. The first season is called This One's for the Girls. And it truly is. It is a reflection and a mirror of my friend group, my own experiences, and the experiences I'm curious about. You'll hear me say in a lot of episodes, I'm curious about, and honestly, it cringes me a little that I say it that much, but I truly am. There's so many things that I want to know about. I want to understand humans at a very deep level because I find that when I learn about other people, it helps me understand myself better. I find myself in a lot of people's stories. I think that when you meet the right people, they hold mirrors up to you, and sometimes it surprises you what you learn about yourself. And I think that's a really beautiful thing about the human experience is that we're all just here learning and trying to learn. And we're all just here doing our best. And I really do hope that as the podcast grows, it converts into a community that's really diverse in background and life knowledge so that we can all expand and empathize a little bit better in our daily lives. Before we wrap up this very brief episode, I just want to say whatever you're carrying right now, you're not alone. Whatever you're feeling, it's totally valid. And there's always space for you here. If today's episode resonated with you, I'd love to hear from you. You can reach out, share your story, just chat with me about anything. Let's keep this conversation going. You can find me on Instagram at I Know How You Feel Podcast or shoot me a message at Let's Talk It Out Productions at gmail.com. Thanks for being here. Thank you for listening and for being part of this journey with me. Until next time, take care of yourselves and remember you are never alone. I Know How You Feel drops every other week. See you next time.